Gábor Lukács, advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights. Gábor, you have spent years advocating for passenger rights. What do you make of these new amendments?
Good afternoon. The new amendments are no more than window dressing to the status quo. They do not address two of the main loopholes in the existing regulations, which are the so-called unexpected maintenance or required for safety reasons loophole, which allows the airline to avoid paying passengers monetary compensation, standardized compensation, if the flight is canceled or delayed due to safety reasons. And the other loophole being the very narrow definition of denial of boarding, where many passengers who should be getting compensation, for example, people who just show up at the airport on time with passports, but erroneously denied even a boarding pass, are not getting currently compensation that should be owed to them because, in fact, they are being denied boarding.
Is this something where you see a lot of travelers or I should say a lot of airlines using those loopholes to their own benefit?
Yes, both of these loopholes have been used many times, especially the so-called required for safety reasons loophole. That is a common excuse by the airline to avoid paying passengers lump sum compensation. And make no mistake, in Europe, which has the gold standard of passenger protection, when a flight is delayed or canceled because of any kind of maintenance issue, however unexpected it may be, the airline still has to pay passengers standardized compensation. So in Europe, passengers don't have to choose between compensation and safety. There is no reason why in Canada, passengers should have to make that kind of choice.
Let's dig a little deeper here. Now, under these proposed amendments, there's now a section called exceptional circumstances, which includes, as you mentioned, security threats, unscheduled airport closures, among other things. Can you explain this a little bit more to us? How significant are those amendments?
So currently you have three categories of a flight disruption: outside the carrier's control, within the carrier's control but required for safety purposes, and a residual third class of within the carrier's control but not required for safety. What they're doing now is simply collapsing the first two categories of outside the carrier's control and required for safety reasons but within the carrier's control into a single category of exceptional circumstances. The problem with it is that we end up with so-called exceptional circumstances that make up the majority of the flight disruptions, as you have shown on the infographics. More than one half, 53% of flight delays fall within this category of exceptional circumstances, and passengers would not be getting compensation for that flight delay. Similarly, more than 2/3 of the flight cancellations, 69%, would fall under the category of exceptional circumstances. So in more than 2/3 of the cases, when a flight is canceled, under this proposal, passengers would see no lump sum compensation. This is nowhere near the European Union's gold standard, which the government has been promising us that we are going to get a world-class international best passenger protection regime. This is nowhere near that. We have been cautioning the government since 2017 about this loophole, specifically about the so-called safety issues, that passengers should be getting compensation when a flight is disrupted for even unexpected maintenance reasons, because it actually creates an incentive for airlines to better maintain its fleet. But the government has systematically been refusing to listen to us and listen to the passengers who have been experiencing this type of disruptions over and over again and are getting more and more frustrated.
We'll have to leave it there. Gábor, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.